Welcome to another episode of the Bull City Bravest podcast. I am Tim McCoy, and I'm here with some friends that are near and dear to me. This is a podcast for firefighters, produced by firefighters, made for firefighters, and people that are interested in firefighting. So today, got a special guest. I got retired fire inspector, and he was a fire driver during his time, right? Lennis Harris. How you doing?
Tim?
How you feeling? You feeling good?
Feeling good, thank you.
All right. And as always, I got producer Patrick in the background. How you doing, Pat?
I'm doing fantastic. It's been a good week. How y'all doing?
Hey, I'm doing good. It's actually been a busy morning. I don't know if you've seen when you came in.
I did.
We had Central out here.
Yeah.
And so, we've been dealing with them all morning. The Central football team, shout out to NCCU football team. They came out here to see what it's like to go through our little agility tests and just some of the training we do. And I wasn't expecting them to pull up with a whole roster, but they pulled up with their whole team. I'm talking about 80 strong. The whole skills teams, quarterbacks, O-line, D-line, they had the whole shebang out there, and they took a bunch of parking spots. So hopefully it wasn't hard finding a parking spot out here
That's
for you. But yeah, that's what we had today. So before we get started, I want to shout out the shirt of the day. Today's shirt is Bull City Professional Firefighters Association. Just a little bit of history of the Bull City Professional Firefighter Association. This is a union with the Durham Fire Department. We have two. The other one is Local 668. But this particular union deals more with community service, so blood drives, food for during Thanksgiving, clothing for the homeless. Those are things we're doing, and right now they're looking for members. So if you want to join the Bull City Professional Firefighter Association, they're looking for people right now. But in the Local 668, they shout out to them. They deal with a lot of legislation and trying to get cancer screenings and things done for firefighters. So they always those two play a major part, and you should really be in both if you're on the Durham Fire Department. Now, with that being said, I told you this is real raw conversations, not planned, and this is what it is. And I'm gonna tell a story about how we got to this point right here. So the other day I got a phone call, and I said, hello? And he said, hey, Tim, this is Lennis. Your podcast sucks. And I was like, yo, oh, man. He said, no, I'm joking. It's good, man. It's really good. And then he went to go and talk about the pictures on the wall right there. You said your brother is in this picture with Bob Pereira, retired Captain Pereira. Uh-huh. So tell us the backstory on that a little bit. You were telling me, but I want you coming from the horse's mouth.
Yeah, both my brothers were in public safety. My brother Sonny, he's a retired police officer. My brother Frank, he left public safety early. But this is when they were doing training during public safety. And that's Bob Pereira carrying out my brother out of a fire. It's a training fire, though.
Okay, all right.
That's the story behind that photo.
And then you have a family member over here, your uncle, right? That's what you were saying?
Yes.
One of the first group of firefighters that...
Yeah. Yes, Elgin Johnson. Because of our age difference, he's really not my uncle, but we said uncle.
Okay.
He's my grandmother's first cousin.
Okay. All right.
So I've known him all my life, and as a matter of fact, I've known several of the firefighters on there pretty much all my life. But that's the family.
Did you used to go to old Station 4? Because that's where they're all at, right? Initially, right? Station 4?
I used to go there and play ping pong and basketball.
Have some good memories over there?
Oh, yeah. It was good stuff.
So is that what kind of like got you into the fire service? Like what, because you said both your brothers served, right, along with yourself. What got y'all into want to be public servants and just doing that?
Well, I was the only family member that wasn't involved in public safety or police department or fire department. Both my brothers were. I have a cousin who was Bill Clinton's bodyguard, one of his bodyguards.
Oh, really?
So I got all my family was in police or either fire. I was the only one not in it, and because I didn't like where I was working before, I was just burned out from it. And that's it. I said I got to do something else.
What type of work were you doing before?
I was managing at McDonald's at the time.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, and so yes, the story was I was working at the McDonald's over in Wellens Village, and it was a Friday, and I was burned out. So I sat down at the desk just to relax for a few minutes, and When I stood up, I saw Ronnie Gooch standing at the end of the counter.
Captain Gooch.
Well, yeah, no, not Captain Gooch, Ronnie Gooch.
Ronnie Gooch. Okay, I'm sorry, I got it mixed up. Okay.
Yeah. Well, Ronnie and I grew up together. I said, "There's Ronnie Gooch. Let me go see what he's been up to." And so we got to talking. I said, "What you doing these days?" He said, "Man, I'm with the Durham Fire Department." I said, "Fire Department?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "Public safety split, so I was just in the first academy, and I'm a firefighter." He said, "As a matter of fact, they're taking applications right now for the second academy." And I kid you not, I looked over my shoulder, and I said, "Where do I apply?" And it went from there.
Really?
Yeah.
So did you happen to get in the second academy, or did you come later?
I was in the second academy.
Second academy. So what are some notable names? So, like, who else was in your academy for Academy 2?
I'm not proud of it, but Captain Leon Justice.
Shout out Captain Justice.
Leon Justice, Mike Bradshaw.
Oh yeah, the mayor.
Danny Dry and Gray Holloman, and shout out to Gray for his retirement.
He's still scoring strong, right?
He's still going strong. Gray was the story behind that. There were 31 of us in that first academy. We started April 14th. Excuse me. Yeah, April 21st, 1986. And so we had our orientation in the classroom, and Captain Brame had a heart-to-heart talk with the class right before lunch. And he said, "Look, this is the first day." He said, if you don't think you're going to like it," he said, "just come talk to us at lunchtime, and we'll just go from there. If you don't want to come back, you're more than welcome to." And so one guy didn't come back. Don't recall who it was, but he chose not to do it. So there was a slot open. That's how Gray Holloman came into.
Really?
Gray was going to be in the next academy.
Okay, all right.
And I'm glad Gray came in our academy, because I'm going to tell you, Billy Lloyd was the youngest at the time, which was 19, and Gray came in at 18. So Gray was the youngest.
One up.
So that dude jumped in there and never looked back.
That's amazing.
Good investment. He was good investment for the city.
That's awesome. And still taking 38 years. I don't even know how long.
39.
39 years. 39 years and still kicking.
Yeah.
And still on a busy truck. He's on a busy truck. He's like on the busiest ladder truck in the city,
That's him.
Which is impressive.
That's him.
So, man, shout out to Gray. So you're in the first academy. Like when you did it, second academy. I'm sorry, second academy, right? Now when you're doing it, like going into it, were you expecting anything? First of all, how old were you?
I was 30.
30, because you were managing McDonald's and you came in 30. Did you feel like when you came into it, and you have young bucks like Gray Holloman at the time? How did you feel? Did you feel out of place, or did you feel like this is right where you belong?
I was kind of apprehensive because there were several people like Tony Barringer and
Captain Barringer,
Ralph Keaton. There were several guys that were already familiar with fire service because they were volunteers with Parkwood and so forth. And so I was kind of apprehensive because these guys, what they were talking about, I had no idea.
Right.
And so I felt like the best thing I needed to do was just stand back and listen and watch, because I didn't ever want to go first on anything because I just didn't know what was going on.
Right.
So I would stand back and let them make the mistakes, and then I would learn from their mistakes.
Okay.
So if I ever went first, I was going to get chewed out because Captain Brame and Chief Parton and Captain Sutherland.
That's typical with the fire department though, because you never want to go first, even when you're doing company drills or whatever, because that first crew is always going to get it because it's unknown. Mm-hmm. You don't know what you're going into. You're doing it blind. Yeah. And then everybody else looks like, like cream. Yeah. They look great after they watch you make your mistake. So it was whenever we do company drills, we try not to go first because we just want to, see what mistakes we can correct, and then that way we can look better. That's typical. That's typical fire department stuff. So
and another thing, when I came on the fire department, I had acrophobia.
Really?
I had a fear of heights, and I remember when I was doing the agility test.
Uh-huh.
My older brother said, "Now look, I know you're scared of heights." He said, "You're gonna have to climb a ladder on the tower." He said, "They're gonna ask you to lock your leg in." He said, "They're gonna ask you to lean back." He said, you won't fall. You can't fall." He said, "But here's what you need to do. You need to climb up the ladder. Do not look down, and follow their instructions. You're going to be okay. Come, unlock your leg and come down. Don't look as you're coming down." And so I did that, and the more we trained,
It went away.
the fear went away.
Look, so if you're scared of heights, listen. As long as you're willing to overcome that fear, it'll eventually go away. Because you're gonna climb some ladders on this job. You're gonna throw some ladders. You're gonna climb some ladders. That's one thing we're good at doing.
Yeah, you never know when you're going to be up in a 55-foot bucket, flowing 1,000 gallons a minute with the wind blowing.
Yeah, they rocking back.
So,
Oh my God.
And that was no longer a problem.
Hey, listen. Hey, when I was doing my bucket training, right? Like, the controls are sensitive.
Yes, they are.
So, I'm new. I'm moving it, and I'm instead of doing smooth, I like kind of rushed it, and that thing. Oh my God, man! I thought I was gonna fly out the bucket, man. I got chewed out for that, man. That's like smooth, slow and smooth.
Yeah.
So that's something that you gotta adjust to with this, especially. I was on ladder 2, so we'd take it all the way up, the stick all the way up, and you could see this whole city skyline, and just see throughout the city, like, oh, there goes Duke. Oh, I can see this over here. I think that's Chapel Hill in the distance over there. So,
now, was that the Sutphen or the snorkel?
it was the Suffin. When I was there, they had the Suffin bucket.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, we're still Suffin department, but now they have the new ladder truck with the ladders in the back. They've advanced a lot since you came here. So it's a beautiful truck. It's a beautiful truck. Now, your academy was how long?
10 weeks.
10 weeks. Man, 10 weeks to 8 months. Do you think who are your training captains?
Robert Brame, Captain Parton. He was Chief Parton, who was Captain Parton at the time, and Captain Sutherland, Harold Sutherland.
Were they like hard-nosed type training captains, or were they pretty?
Captain Harold was kind of laid back. He was new at it.
Right.
Chief Parton, or Captain Parton at the time, he was laid back as well, but he was always watching to make sure we were doing what we were supposed to do. Captain Brain, he was wide open. He was wide open. But the thing about Captain Brain, if he's talking, listen, because he knew exactly what he was talking about.
Yeah.
He did. He was tough at times, but he knew what he was doing.
So in my academy, we kind of had the same thing. Well, I had Captain Price, Captain Tim Price. Yeah. Shout out to him, jokester. So you already know where he goes. He's a hilarious man. He says, "If you ever see me fighting a bear, save the bear." That's like one of the first stories he told us. He said, "I hope you got to take to the gun shows. Never seen a man so beautiful." That his whole spiel, right? Like Captain Price was the man, right?
Yeah.
But and it was actually a cartoon drawing of him in our academy. What happened was we were doing training. Griff he broke his ankle during training. Like they were doing us. I don't even know. We were doing search drills or something, and I don't know if he misstepped or something, but he ended up messing up his ankle during training. And in the cartoon, Griff has him being carried out by two people, and he's like, "It's gotta. I'm such a man. It takes two." Like, man, it was hilarious. I gotta find that cartoon, man. Captain Price is a man, but he told us he was like, "Well, I'm the good cop in this situation, so." You never got to worry about me getting on you like that.
Doesn't sound like him.
He said, but then we had, he said we had Captain Bonin, who was, he was like running the academy at that time. And we also had, who was supposed to be the bad cop. And he was like the, New Yorker accent. What you guys doing? Like, what's going on? What you guys got going?
Yeah, I saw him the other day.
He's like the tough guy. And then we had 4. So we had Captain Snipley, Chief Snipley, who ended up he got promoted to chief during our academy. But he he was like even keel. Like he didn't say a lot, kind of like what you're saying. Like he didn't say a lot, but when he spoke, you pretty much listened. And then we had Chief Anuzi, or Captain Anuzi at the time, and he was more of a stickler too. But I just never forget. I'm gonna tell the story. I got a story from Academy. All right. One day, there's two guys from my academy. During the academy they tell you, be on P's and Q's, don't hang out, don't go nowhere crazy, be ready to go. Well, two guys from my academy, I'm not gonna name them. I might name one, but Roy Jimerson was one of the guys, all right?
Front, yeah.
Roy Jimerson, my man.
Yeah.
Roy Jimerson, he didn't show up to the academy one day. And he called out sick. Well, the other guy, who I will not name, he was like, he pretty much ratted on him, like, yo, I know. He didn't tell the cap, but he's telling us, like, Roy's not sick. We partied a little too hard last night. He's not sick. So that's the way he was like, okay, well, all right, that makes sense. All right, but what happened was, this guy thought it would be funny to call Roy and play a joke on him. So he called Roy, and Roy's wife answered the phone because Roy's passed out, trying to recover. And he's like, he acted like Chief Pagan.
Uh-huh.
And he was like, first of all, the guy that's impersonating Chief Pagan sounds nothing like Chief Pagan. Uh-huh. So when he called, he's like, hey, where's Roy at? He's supposed to be at work. Where is he at? Tell him we're looking for him. And so his wife don't know no better. She think he's literally, first of all, the chief of the department calling. Mm-hmm. So she tells Roy, and Roy's like frantic at this point, because you're new, you're in the academy, yeah. You don't know no better. You thinking the chief is calling you, you in big trouble. So he calls admin, he's like, hey, I'm calling to talk to Chief Pagan, he called me. And they're like, Chief Pagan didn't call you? Like, what are you talking about? Yo, word got back to our training captains, and Captain Bonin came in the room. He slammed the door. He says, who's the chief of the Durham Fire Department? And we're like, what are you talking about? Chief Pagan. He's like, don't play with me. He used some profound language. Uh-huh. He says, who is the chief of the Durham Fire Department? We're like, Chief Pagan. He's like, no, I'm not playing. He's like going crazy. And we're like, we don't know. Like, we're nervous. He's like, who called pretending to be Chief Pagan? And we're like, yeah, who the heck did that? Who called? Who played? You did it? And then the guy was like, I thought it was funny. Me and Roy, we out partying last night. I thought it was a joke. It was a joke. Bro, we got so many push-ups, man. That was just an interesting time in my academy, man. I'm sorry. Listen, I just had to tell that story because that's a story I'll never forget from my academy. Do you have any stories from the academy that stand out for you? Because, I know it was 10 weeks, but was there any scenario where you just remember it was like traumatizing or funny?
Well, there's several. Like Chief Reed, when he was trying to, when we were doing rappelling, he ended up upside down, and they told him he had to do it again. He said, y'all gonna have to fire me. I'm not going up there again.
So Chief, he was actually chief at the time?
No, he was in the academy.
He was chief in the,
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he was a firefighter with me.
You talking about Eddie Reed?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
That Eddie Reed.
Yeah, okay. That Eddie Reed.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So he ended up upside down.
Yeah, upside down.
Oh man, now, hey, when I see you, I'm gonna ask you about that story now. Mm-hmm. He ended up upside down.
Yeah, upside down.
That's awesome.
And the one that stands out, he's gonna kill me for this. But I always change it up every time we tell it. But
typical firefighter.
We were. Chief Bibby was he was a military guy.
Right.
So Chief liked things structured. Structured. It's going to be paramilitary. It's going to be military. You're on a march, military. You're going to turn, everything military.
All right.
Okay. So we were out there marching. There was a young kid we called him Tiny Bubbles. He was showing us how to march. He was in the military.
Pause real quick. Why do they call this guy Tiny Bubbles? What's the story? What's the quick reference to that?
Well, when we were jogging in rank, he was doing a cadence of Tiny Bubbles, da da da. And so we started calling him Tiny Bubbles.
Because of the
And it
cadence.
stuck. His name was Jeff something.
Tiny Bubbles.
If you look at our photo, our class photo, he's the guy sitting in the middle by himself behind the chief.
Tiny Bubbles.
Tiny Bubbles.
All right. Sorry, I just had to figure out that's. I never heard of Tiny Bubbles before.
Well, Chief Bibby didn't like the way he was showing us how to march. And he was in the military. And Chief Billy said, Bibby told him, just stop. He said, is there anybody else who can teach these guys how to march? And so Captain Justice Leon, he looked like this, and he looked like this, and he said, okay, you, get out here and show these guys how to march. And if you've ever seen Captain Justice walking, Leon, he's got a little dip in his step.
Yeah, a little bop.
Just a little bit. And so he was out front, and we were watching him march, and I said, he's doing pretty good. And so when we finished, I said, I told Mike Bradshaw, Mike, that guy had never been in the Army. I said, if he was in anybody's army, it was the Salvation Army. And so Mike told Leon, look, man, you don't know me. I'll kick you so. And we've been best friends ever since.
You downgraded that man to Salvation Army. Oh man, that's wild. Captain Justice, I'm gonna have to talk to him about that too. I love hearing these stories because so many stories that you get from it. So let me ask you something. So you graduated academy. Where do you go? Where'd you get assigned?
Station 6.
Station 6. Who? You remember your first crew?
Mm-hmm.
Who's your first crew?
Captain Gaddy was the captain. John Renner was the driver. David Lee was a firefighter, and I was the other firefighter.
Captain Gaddy can cook. I know that much.
6A.
6A. Mm-hmm. And what was like? So you felt, you said initially in the academy you felt out of place because these other guys had volunteer experience, and it's kind of out of your element because obviously you've never done it before. Mm-hmm. By the time you got to 6A, did you feel a little more comfortable? Were you felt confident in yourself? You graduated the academy. Were you ready to go, or was it a different world from the academy now that you're in the field?
I wish I had started at a busier station. See, at Station 6, there was nothing out there. No Hope Valley Farms, no Woodcroft, none of that. No mall, nothing. It was just dead out there.
Was that the furthest station south at that point?
That was number 6 was south.
Was 12 out at that point still?
Was it no 12?
No 12. Just what was the highest number when you were on?
There were 10 stations.
10 stations.
And that was,
wow. So y'all were like on Alamo by yourself out there.
Yes.
And you, like I said, it wasn't developed what it is today.
Yeah, and Station 6, as large as it is, it was a public safety station.
Right.
So you had 2 people before we came out there, before the split. There were only 2 people in that big station. You had a driver and a captain. That was it. But there were, police cars would come out there and gas up and do reports and things like that,
And what year was that?
1986.
86. Oh, I was born in 86.
Gosh, who you calling old? But anyway, I couldn't have worked with a better crew. Captain Gaddy, very, very smart and sharp. He was in public safety, but he chose to come to the fireside. But very smart, very, very matter of fact, very funny. Mm-hmm. And he'd let you know, Harris, he said, here's the thing. If you do things right, I'm going to let you know. And he said, if you do things wrong, I'm going to let you know. And if you do things wrong, I'm going to write you up. It doesn't matter who it is. He said, I go by the book. Mm-hmm. And I had no problem with that. As long as I know the rules, I'm good. Mm. John Renner was very good with mechanical things. So John taught me a lot about the truck, different things.
It's probably his prime then too, because he's probably, public safety days, he's probably still.
Oh yeah, John.
Stout, big guy.
John Renner was built like John Riggins. If you ever heard of John Riggins. John Riggins used to be a running back for the Washington Redskins.
I have no idea. I'm a Google that.
John was built like him and just as strong as John Riggins. Yeah.
You hear the stories about John Renner and just him carrying the 235s and
He
just
could.
a boss,
He could.
a hoss at it.
He was.
Them public safety guys, again, you talk about legacy firefighters, those guys were like hosses, like they were huge. I didn't really get a lot. So John Renner was my driver when I first came out.
Okay.
So that's ironic there. But and he was the driver. I went to ladder 2 out of the academy, but I only worked with Captain Gaddy one time. But one thing I remember is he can cook. That man can cook.
I could cook.
They can throw down.
He can
They used to
cook.
tell me that. It's like, yo, you Captain Hoxie was my captain on that too. So when I rode out, he's like, you going out there with Captain Gaddy? He can cook. You gonna eat good now. You gonna eat good. So I do remember Captain Gaddy could cook. So you came out of Station 6. Wasn't the busiest station because you're out there in the Alamo. Woodcroft wasn't there. Station 6 was totally different at this moment.
Yeah.
What would any fond memories from Station 6 from that particular era of your life, and how long were you there for?
I was there for 2 years, 2.5 years. Then I was transferred to Station 3.
Okay.
I was stationed Station 3 on the ladder truck. And I stayed there one night, and ladder 3 became ladder 12 the next workday. They had built Station 12. Those
Really?
2.5, 3 years I was out there at Station 6, they were working on Station 12 on Carpenter Fletcher Road.
Oh man.
So I went from ladder 3 for one day to ladder 12 the next workday. And I was back in the same boat I was in.
Out on that Alamo by yourself.
Nothing out there.
I remember Captain Shazo would talk about that. He was out at Station 12, was nothing out there.
Nothing.
Wow. So, what happened to ladder 3? It just was no longer ladder 3? It was ladder 12?
Ladder 3.
Was ladder 1 in place at that time?
Mm-hmm. Ladder 1 was still there.
Man. So, one day it was just like, yo, move all your
I
stuff.
spent the night in Station 3, one night.
And
Next
then-
night, I was at Station 12.
So, how long were you in 12 for?
I did 2 tours out there. I was the firefighter, and then I came back as a driver, and then I was the driver on ladder 12, Todd O'Brien and I.
So, all right, so you're at ladder 12. When you promote the driver, what assignment were you at then?
When I was promoted?
Yeah, to driver. What was your assignment before you got promoted?
You had to ask. Where did I go?
I know it's been
12?
a
I
bit.
think it was 12.
You went to 12.
Yeah, 12.
Did you ever? You mentioned 1. Did you go to 1?
I did go to 1 later on.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Because I think someone mentioned
Yeah.
either you was on the. I don't know if they said you were on the rescue, or I remember them saying you were at 1.
Yeah, I was on ladder 1 with John Renner and Talton Wood.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, and then I was promoted to driver. Then I went to 12. I think it was 12. Yeah.
So in your experience on the department, like in operations, what was like your favorite assignment, and why was that?
My favorite assignment with the department as a whole, or
Just in suppression. Or
Engine
operation?
1.
Engine 1.
Engine 1.
And what made Engine 1 so special?
I was busy all the time, which I wanted to stay busy. And I knew the streets really well, so it was good for me.
Now, are you? I didn't even ask you. Are you a Durham native? Like you said, you knew the streets well. Is that because you were raised here, or
You know, born and raised in Durham, Highway 55.
Highway 55?
Pearson Town Elementary School for 6 years, Shepherd Junior High for 3 years, and then Hillside 3.
Hillside alumni.
74. Class of 74.
The old Hillside, the old building.
Who you calling old again?
No, I'm.
The old Hillside on Concord. Yeah.
Oh man. So all right. So you like Engine 1 because it's busy. Again, those inner city trucks, especially Engine 1, they're busy trucks. It seems like you're always doing something,
Yeah.
whether it's calls, training, or whatever the case may be. At what point in your career did you transition to going into inspections, and why did you decide to go that route?
Well, it got to the point where I was when I was driving engine one, I was on A shift from the time I graduated from the academy.
The best shift, by the way,
It was
in
good.
Durham Fire Department.
It was
Okay.
good. It was good. And driving engine one, we were up and down 2 and 3 times a night, sometimes some nights. And I went to Chief Eric and I said, Chief, I need a break. I need to go to a slower station for a while. He said, there's nothing available. There's a slot on C shift, it's station 10. I said, I'll take it. I'll take it. And so I was a driver on engine 10 for 2 or 3 years, 2 years.
Who's the captain?
Steve Smith.
Steve Smith. Okay, Captain Smith. Another swole mother scruncher, man. Captain Smith was swole.
Steve was a good man. You had to watch it with Steve, though. Steve had a short fuse. But I had to wean myself up to Steve to where I could mess with him and not worry about getting beat up.
Yeah,
Steve was good to work for. Steve was a good man.
he's one of those guys. He's one of those guys that got those like weightlifting medals or trophies out there. Because I remember in the camp, I was like, "Who's those?"
Yeah,
And
yeah.
they said, "Captain Smith." Funny story about Captain Smith. This is one memory I have of him. I was on A shift, and this was his last day of work. Last day of work. A call comes out at a particular time. I'm not going to say. Let's just say it's before the shift is over. And they try to dispatch this man. They dispatch engine 10. You got like, it wasn't nothing serious. It was like a little, what we would call a non-emergent call. But they got dispatched. He said, yeah, instant communications, we're not taking that. And he didn't go. Now, there was some stuff that happened behind the scenes from that situation, but
That's funny.
I just thought it was hilarious. My man said, hey,
We're not.
I'm already clocked out, my guy. I'm clocked out, my guy. That's one of my, that's one memory I have of Captain Smith.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do remember walking around Station 10 when I rode out there, man. That man, at that point, he wasn't, his peak years.
It was broken down.
But he was still, you could tell, he had a solid frame. You
Oh,
could
yeah.
tell
Oh, yeah.
that he was a solid, you didn't want to touch him back in the day.
No.
Tatted up
No, Steve.
to the mustache, the nice little thick mustache, which I meant to talk about Captain Hamlin. It's a couple people in the department that's known for the mustaches. Captain Hamlin was one who I was just talking to, and then Steve Smith had one of the nice little, before it was like really, like it was against regulation, but he had it.
Yeah.
So,
Who's going to tell him?
hey, he got what Alvin Fort would call T.I. I got T.I. I got T.I. I said, Alvin. Alvin.
Why
I
you got to
said,
do his voice, man? Why you got to do his
hey,
voice?
brother, I got T.I. I said, Alvin,
man.
what's that? He said, time in, mother scratcher.
Oh, he used right the other way.
Hey, ever since then, when someone would try to tell me something, I'm like, I got T.I. They're like, what's T.I.? Time in? I got time in. Yeah, Alvin, man, that's a jewel I took from him, man. So you went to Station 10, you slowed down, so obviously that was a slowdown, right?
Mm-hmm.
At that point, I'm imagining 10 wasn't, about what time was that time frame? Like 95, 96 or?
No, yeah, that was let's see. That's before I went to the World of Police Fire Games. You didn't know about that.
I don't know. What is
Okay.
the World of Police Fire Games?
The World Police and Fire Games.
What's that? I think I've heard of it, but I just, for those that don't know, not for me, I
That's
think I've heard of
for
it.
that's for police and fire personnel from all over the world would come and play Olympic sports.
Oh, so it had nothing to do with the fire department.
Uh,
Other than the personnel being there, but they played
Yeah.
real, like, other games. Weren't like, what I'm saying is they didn't have, like, they weren't throwing ladders and, because there's competitions like that.
These were sporting events.
Okay.
You're talking about track and field. You're talking.
So what did you do?
I played table tennis.
Table tennis.
Mm-hmm.
Were you nice at table tennis?
I was decent.
Decent. You want like the Olympics, like Olympic style, like back and forth. That's what you were doing.
I got 5th place.
Forrest Gump, 5th place. But I'm sure there's a lot of people out there.
Let's see. Here, let's put it this way. I beat a guy from Russia. I beat a guy from Finland. I beat a guy from Scotland. I beat a guy from Ohio. And the guy who knocked me out,
USA, USA.
the guy that knocked me out of competition was a New York firefighter. His name was Scott Bogan. Scott Bogan was a U.S. Open champion. And Scott and I should have been on the opposite sides of the
Bracket.
We should have been on the opposite sides. So we were on the same side. And because Scott beat me to go to the finals, Scott beat me 21-15, 21-16. The guy that he beat to play in the finals, to win the finals, he beat 21-2 and 21-3.
Good gracious.
We should have been on.
You got gypped, man. You should have been in the finals,
yes.
man.
Yeah, should have been in the finals.
I didn't know you was a world-renowned table tennis player.
Yeah.
So you smacking people at fire stations. It wouldn't have been fun to play with you. Because we got table tennis at Station 1, and I'm okay. Very novice. Most of the time I play, have a beer or something. But some of the people at Station 1, they kind of beasts. You probably one of the people I wouldn't want to play with.
I don't recall losing. But anyway.
Very, very humble. Very humble.
How bad it was. People would, when I was at Station 6, people would come in and just challenge me.
Hold on. I'm sorry. I have to throw this out here. When I was talking about playing table tennis with a beer in my hand, that was not on duty. I want to clarify that real quick. I'm novice when I'm out and about. At Station 1, sweet tea was in my hand. All right, listen.
Oh, man.
So
Scotty Gordon stopped by Station 6 one day. Said he wanted to play me in ping pong. He wasn't going to stop till he beat me. He did beat me. Did
that eat you up? You didn't like it?
No, I was happy because we played 62 games. He wasn't going to stop until he won. So I lost the last game on purpose. So he said, this way I could tell people the last time we played, I beat you. I don't have a problem with that.
Oh, man.
We played 62 straight games.
And you smacked them up 61 of them.
Yeah.
Man, that's it. See, the more you know. I didn't know. So you still play table tennis now?
No. The police department challenged us, the fire department, to a tournament. We played at one of the rec centers. And this is when I was in inspections. And all I did was we were going to win. The fire department was going to win. They couldn't beat us. But all I did was made a quick move to the left and partially tore my Achilles. And I limped for 8 months. And so at that point, I gave away all my table tennis equipment, my racquetball equipment, my tennis rackets. I gave it away because I knew I was 18 here athletically. And I know my body at the time, I was going to hurt myself. And so I said, I still got several years to go. I'm not gonna hurt myself.
You know, it's amazing how easy you can tear your Achilles or rupture your Achilles. Because listen, man. Ken Barr, another one of my academy mates.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Ken Barr. The caddy daddy, as we like to call him. Funny story about Ken. Ken comes to Station 7. You know, at Station 7, you got that little hill crest over. Mm-hmm. So he coming on his caddy, and I guess he doesn't realize that there's a drop off. Mm. And Ken, we see him coming, and we see him slowly inching forward, and we're like, Ken, no! And he stopped right there, man. It came close, man. But that's what we called him, the caddy daddy. But we was at Station 2. Uh-huh. We were working out. Now, one of the ways that Station 2 would work out back in the day was we would play a sport, basketball. And so we didn't even get to play basketball at this point. We were literally shooting around, just, warming up. And we're talking junk. oh, the ladder, we're going to beat you guys. I was on the ladder. We're going to beat you engine guys, whatever, whatever. And what happened was we're shooting around and Ken's like, who hit me with the ball? And I'm like, Ken, what are you talking about? He's like, what do you guys threw a ball at my ankle? Who hit me? And we're like, Ken, nobody hit you with the ball, Ken. No one hit you. He said, yes, you did. And then immediately after that, he says, oh, I ruptured my Achilles. And we said, I'm not gonna name the captain at the time. But the captain said, come on, Sugarfoot, ain't nothing wrong with you. Come on now, you gonna play, man. You're not going home. You're not going home. Just joke. We think he playing. There's you're shooting by yourself. There's no way you get injured, right? We didn't believe it. And then come to find out, like he's like, nah, man, I can't do anything. Really, I think I ruptured my Achilles. All my friends that play tennis, they say it feels like this, and this is what it feels like. We was like, man, ain't nothing. So he doesn't play. We ended up going back to the station. We called safety officer, takes him to ortho. And this man ruptured his Achilles, come back with a boot. And then for the next, like you said, 8 months, he's on this little scooter, scooting around. And I used to joke with him. I said, man, Ken, you're so fragile, man. You got hurt walking. Like, how do you get hurt walking? And then come to find out all these more athletic people are rupturing their Achilles off of nothing. And I'm like, well, I guess a little bit more.
I mean, I'm very fortunate because I played tennis. I started playing tennis when I was 13. So I played on composition courts all my life. Played on clay some, but mostly composition. And composition courts on the hard courts. But anyway, I played football, baseball, basketball. I ran track, cross country. You name it, all the sports. I played in the marching band. I mean, I'm fortunate to have my hips and my knees, especially my knees and hips with all the back and forth with the tennis. But even with all that, all it took was a little quick move to the left.
And boom.
And I felt it, and I said, I've hurt myself here. And I could move my foot, but it was very painful. I went to my doctor the next day. It was partially torn. I didn't tear all the way, but I limped for 8 months.
Jeez. So you gave up table tennis.
Hadn't touched another racket.
Wow.
Somebody told me that I was going to start playing pickleball one day. No, I'm not.
And you were in inspections at this point, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, because I know there's another story where you got hurt during inspections. And I'm going to tell that story too. But I want to talk about how you got to inspections. How do you get to inspections?
This is a Steve Smith story.
All right.
I was the driver on engine 10, and I was I had to leave engine 10. I had to go. I had to leave station 10, not engine 10, but station 10, because if you're familiar with station 10, it's a public safety station, so they put up walls because it was one big bay, and the truck took up half the bay, and the other side used to be open, and they put bedrooms in there. So the buzzer was right outside my bedroom door. And when that buzzer went off, I mean, down at Station 1, we had a buzzer and a bell. It wasn't that bad because it wasn't right up on you, but that thing was right outside my door. And each time that thing went off, it would.
Your heart skipped a beat.
And I told Steve, this place is going to kill me. I can't deal with that buzzer. It's just too loud. And so the next work period, we were doing 10-day notices for inspections. 10-day notices. So we went to some places on Guest Road, and I'm not going to point out the business, but we stopped in one of the businesses, and we went in to give the 10-day notice, and the man, for some reason, don't know why, he didn't like Steve. He didn't like Steve. He didn't have a problem with me. He didn't like Steve. Never met Steve, but he didn't like Steve. So the guy said, "What do you want?" He said, we're going to be doing inspections. We're doing a 10-day notice so we can come in and do the inspections. He said, "My place doesn't need inspecting." He said, "Sir, it's mandated. We got to inspect all businesses within the city limits." And he said, I don't want my place inspected. Steve said, sir, we're going to have to do it. We'll be back in 10 days to do it. He said, you can come back, she ain't going to do it. And so we left out. You know, when Steve was getting ready to get teed off, he tilted his head to the left, and he balled up his left fist. And, okay, Steve, it's time to go. Let's go, Captain, let's go. And so we left and came back 10 days later, and the gentleman said, oh, I see you came back anyway. He said, I told you I didn't want an inspection. He said, well, sir, we're going to have to do it. He said, you're not going to do it. He said, sir, we have to do it. He said, I tell you what, you go ahead and do your inspection. When you finish, I'm going to tear it up right in front of you. And of course, Steve's head went like this, and I said, Captain, we need to go. We need to call Chief Reed and have him come out here and straighten this out. So Chief Reed, Bud Reed, came out, ironed it out. He didn't have a problem with Chief Reed. He didn't have something about Steve. I don't know what. But I was talking to Chief Reed in the parking lot. And I said, I was talking to him about the buzzer at Station 10. I said, when do y'all want to have a slot open in fire prevention? He said, we got a slot open now. I said, I didn't see it on the internet. He said, it's not on the internet. He said, it's on the intranet. I never looked at the intranet. So
for those that don't know, explain the difference between the two.
The intranet was within the city. It was within the city. It's not the internet. It's not a world wide web. It's the intranet within the city.
Internetwork.
Intranetwork.
Yep.
And so he said, you ought to apply. And I did, and that's how I ended up in fire prevention.
Oh, you know, but connected on or what could possibly have been a conflict. Hey, listen, so you mentioned a time in the fire department. It sounds like you guys were doing inspections on the truck, right? How, like, did you guys have a quota, or how many inspections you had to do during that time period? Because we don't do it now. Like, we obviously have a whole department which grew while you were there, and just since then. Well, how many did you have to do while you're in the field?
10 per month.
10 per month. And so, to be a captain, was that a requirement to be a captain? Or?
Yeah, the captains had to take the Inspector 1 course. State Fire Inspector 1 course.
Now, with you switching gears from, how did you end up getting did you get put into inspections and then you got your inspector's certification, or how did that happen? Or had you already had it?
I had to get probationary.
Probationary, okay.
Then get the probationary, you can start, with level 1 stuff. And then you would have to take your state certification. And so to be in fire prevention, you had to take level 1, 2, and 3. And so took the level 1, got that, and all the way up to level 3, to where you can, level 1 and 2, you can inspect only certain buildings. Level 3, you can inspect anything within the city.
And I think I think it's pretty much the same now. Like, you can come in and get your probationary. I don't think you need to have it before you apply. Now, I'm not 100% sure, so don't quote me on that. But that's one thing that I tell people when I'm out talking to people and just trying to get them into the department or show interest. I'm like, hey, like, the hopes is that you do 30 years with the department, but that 30 years doesn't have to be all on the truck. Like, we have these avenues now, more now than ever. We have avenues where, like in your situation, like, which is the bell, like, which is a thing that's conversation in the firehouse now, and they're looking at within our department now is just like slowly, gradually, the ramp up tones, just
which makes sense
because it is a lot of stress on your heart, right?
It is.
Especially with the buzzer being loud out of nowhere, just dead sleeping in. All of a sudden, you got to call 1-2. 1:15 in the morning, but it doesn't. So the ramp up tones slowly, gradually increase. That's something that's been talked about. In your case, they didn't have it back then, so but you had, luckily for you, you had an option where you can get off the truck but still serve within the department and keep your time within and for your retirement. So, how long were you in inspections for?
I was in suppression for 16 years, and I did my last 14 in inspections.
Now, there's obviously a difference between suppression and inspection are, and you know, coming from the ops side of things, you know, we never really when we look at inspectors, I'm not gonna say it's a lack of respect. It's more of a lack of understanding of what you guys really like. We know you guys inspect everything, but like I said before on here, like you really gain an understanding when you come back here and really see everything that you guys do back here and everything you guys have to put up with. For you, that switch, what was it like from operations to now inspections? Was it something difficult? Was it easier? What were the pros?
Well, the first thing I had to do was get used to the schedule change. That's the first thing I needed to get used to. I had to get used to, and how I knew I had made the right decision, because I had young kids. I came to work the first day. I always go everywhere I go. I'm early. So my first day here, I drove here, and for some reason my head always goes to Station 9. I always look over there. And I got here, looked over there, and I saw Joey Sherrill's truck parked in the parking lot over there. I got off work that afternoon. I was driving up Club here, looked over at Station 9, and saw Sherrill's truck still in the parking lot. I came in the next morning to here, early, like I always do, looked over at Station 9, and Joey Sherrill's truck was still there, and I said, I made the right decision. I said, I've gone home and slept all night, and
No interruptions,
no interruptions.
which is big, right?
Yeah, and I knew I had made the right decisions then. But then, there was a time when there was this thing about if you came over to inspections, it's because you're like an old beat up horse. This is where
That is the stigma.
Yes,
that's the stigma. You coming to die.
Coming to die. Yeah.
Right.
But it was a whole new world. It's amazing what it all started with that chicken fire plant down in Hamlet, where the 25 people were killed, where the state code really kicked in strong.
I think Captain Lennis was a state trooper. He was working during that actual fire. I remember sitting in an academy class. Shout out to Captain Lennis, and I believe in the presentation I was sitting in, he was talking about how, you know, when he was state trooper, he went to this and he had pictures of the fire, like people handprints on the wall where they were trying to get out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember that fire mainly
Yeah.
because of that.
The codes, people started looking at the codes more strongly and more with more like it needed to be
Tighter. Yeah.
And the General Assembly, whoever does the things, you had groups that were put together to help enforce a new code.
Yeah, regulate the codes and
new
laws.
regulations and things. And good thing about North Carolina, we had some smart firefighters all over the state, and I'm talking about in volunteer departments as well as paid. And they would get together along with other people, and the code that you see now in North Carolina is had a lot to do with all that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, I kind of talked on this and touched on it before. Like you mentioned it earlier, like the stigma again of just being firefighters come out here to die. I mean, I was ignorant in my own mindset, thinking like, you know, these guys who come out to inspection are trying to duck, like they don't want to be They don't want to be firefighters. Like they're scared of fire. Like that's young mindset, not knowing what I know now, and just not understanding. Like you guys, like you spent 16 years in the field. For a lot of departments, like 20 years in the fire department is more than enough, right? You do a lot, but you spent 16 years and you did your work, and a lot of times it's not even. Sometimes it's like health reasons, family reasons, and so it took a while for me to realize that, hey, these guys, it ain't that they can't do the job. It's just they're choosing to go a different direction. They're actually being smarter in some cases. Like, right, you did it because it was stressful. That bell was being causing stress on your heart. So
And another factor was I was looking at John Renner and Talton Wood. These guys worked like mules on the fire truck. I mean, they gave it 110%
Yeah.
when we were on structure fires.
hmm
These guys were amazingly strong, dedicated, and you know, a lot of times all I could do is just sit back and watch them work because they worked hard. When we were ventilating on roofs and things, these guys were something. But then again, on the other hand, I noticed that there were aches and pains starting to come in with that. And so I was looking at that and I was saying, I said, do I want to finish out my career having surgeries and things and knee replacements and back surgery and neck surgery and things like that? And that was another factor. So many factors went into it. It just wasn't one factor. Several factors went into it. And I will say this to anybody. Do not, if you're going to be in a career like this, don't limit yourself to just what's presented before you. There are other avenues that are right in front of you that you should take advantage of. I mean, I never thought that I would be a level 3 inspector. I never knew I'd be a fire investigator, certified fire investigator. I mean, I never dreamed that I'd be at the National Fire Academy twice. New Mexico taking international fire code things, you know, just all over. And that I could bring back to Durham, to the community, and use it here in Durham.
yeah.
So I couldn't have done that in suppression.
Don't put yourself in a box.
Don't put
And
yourself in a box.
I can't remember what it was, because at one point I took inspections class. I didn't follow through with it because it just wasn't for me. I
Understand.
just didn't like it. But I was interested in investigations. Like, if I could just be an investigator, that would have been my thing. But you had to be an inspector and then get into the investigations.
Mm-hmm.
But the whole reason why I went into that is because there was a situation where somebody, at the time, again, we weren't as well at looking out for our people. There wasn't as many avenues. So this person was a firefighter, and then they got injured or something. They couldn't do the physical job anymore. But they didn't have a way to. They didn't have their inspections or anything like that. So they pretty much had to, retire. And I was like, I want to have a way out, right? So that's what got me into the inspections class. I actually took it with Sierra. She was with you guys then. And so I think Chief Reed had her take the class. So I took it with her. And again, it wasn't my thing. But like you said, there is, don't put yourself in a box. Find other things to get into, whether it's inspections or whether it's getting your instructor so you can come out here and teach at the academy, whether you get your public safety educator and, hit the public education side of things. There's a lot of different avenues you can do now. And our department is good at tapping in special talents of our people, right? We got people that are dealing with computers and tech, right? They'll tap into them. So now more than ever, again, it's a great time, and you don't have to just stick to suppression. You're going to do your job and do your time in suppression, but there's other things you can do and room for you to grow. Now, you mentioned one of the things that played a part as well as you had young kids, and you do have a son on the department right now who's a stud. I said he's a stud, Mr. December, September, January, February. Blair, Patrick, you know Blair? Blair's a stud, man.
Yeah, I think how long's Blair been here?
14 years now, I think.
14 years. We got to get Blair on the podcast.
He has locks. He's a physical specimen. Remind me of myself back in the day.
Yeah, we'll get him on the podcast.
Okay.
He's about 6'4", 6'5", or something like that, stout. But how does it feel having, you have your daughter, Stacy, shout out Stacy, but how does it feel to have someone follow in your footsteps or see his growth into this job and this journey?
It's I just like I'm sure my brothers, like my older brother, he didn't want me to be on the fire department because he didn't want me to get hurt.
Right.
And with him, I think about him every once in a while about how he's doing and is he okay, and I'm glad to see him doing this. I mean, he could have gone in any direction he wanted to. He's
extremely smart.
extremely smart. He's a NC State graduate. He's got a degree in communications, so he could go. He could have done anything. But he chose the fire service, which I was shocked, and I said, well, good. Let's go ahead and do it. And he jumped in with both feet, and he's done well.
Hey, and in the words of Jay-Z, thank you for coming here. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate that. So I appreciate you. But he's actually active. Like, he's part of the Bull City Professional Firefighters Association. He's a cabinet member there. So
I was president at that point.
He put in work. Oh, were you?
Several years ago, yeah.
Wow. Mm-hmm. I think when I first came on, who was running it? Rev was the president. Okay. Rev was president when I first came on. Was that so? You were before Rev? Before
yes.
Rev. So yeah, So thank you, because you guys created an avenue, and all the work that you've done as well. Mm-hmm. But I can't imagine what it's like. I think I try to steer my son. Like, I'm not gonna tell my son to get in the fire department just because, not because I don't think it's a great career. I think it's a great career, but you always just want them to be better, right? Yeah. I want him to be like be a senator or something. Like, I want him to do something. I want him to do something crazy. But this is a great job, and then if he decides to take it under this, follow my footsteps, I'll be more than happy to support him. But I was always wondering how that felt. Like you said, your brother had some concerns, and I imagine the same for you. Now, you did these years and inspections. I'm sure you've seen a lot of crazy things. You were the Duke guy, right? You went to a lot of Duke games, and you were able to, all the basketball games, you were always there. And so, any fond memories of this inspections, like memorable people you met because of inspections, or memories you have from inspections that, stick out?
At Duke was a good experience. I mean, I wasn't well liked out there by a lot of people, but like I would explain to them, I can't go home and tell my wife that Duke owns our home because I didn't do my job. So when I was out there, I had to make it clear. We're going to do the things by the code. It's no buddy stuff. This has got to be done right. And so I had to ruffle a few feathers out there.
Meant business.
Uh-huh. And that was it. I couldn't be laxed in this area with some people, and not lax with other people. I had to be consistent.
All right.
I had to be consistent. And what made me feel real good about it was Dr. Thulman. He was in charge of just about everything out there. He would make sure that when people wanted to buck a little bit, he'd hear my side, and we're going to do it like he wants it. And I got the blessing from Coach K. His Schwartz Butters never passed an inspection on the first time. And Cameron never passed on the first time. All these, Wallace Wade never passed on the first time. There was always something. Mm-hmm. Always. And you can't say, well, we'll just let this go. You can't do that. And so there were some close times when it was close to game time and there were issues. And they were taken care of before. Yeah. Because it wasn't going to happen. It was going to ruffle some feathers.
I say you guys are probably the closest to cops in the aspect of when it comes to, like, everyone loves firefighters, right? Like, no one we don't really hardly get people that dislike us. Like cops get it all the time, but inspectors, now y'all are different because
Oh, no.
y'all are enforcing rules, right? And
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure you guys had your interactions and people.
Oh man, oh man. It was sometimes it was you just be surprised how people would try to cut corners or do things they're not supposed to do, and you know, just do it right the first time and be done with it. You know,
Yeah,
I don't want to come back and do your inspection. Do it right the first time. I mean, you had people working without permits. You had, you know, you have to do stop work orders. Uh, you know, even with the fireworks at the ballpark, there were some nights I wouldn't let them shoot. I wouldn't do the permit because you have to follow. There are ATF rules and state fire code rules that you have to follow.
oh yeah, you a
And see,
stickler. I can tell right now you a stickler.
oh yeah, and you know,
Yeah, that's good
sometimes,
though.
you know, it's got to be within the parameters of the code. You know, the code says you got to have a certain uh, uh, amount of distance between the crowd and where you're going to shoot your fireworks. If you can't meet that, it can't happen.
Yeah,
Because the first time something happens,
that's on you.
it's on me because they'll say, "Well, you didn't have to issue the permit." And they're right. I didn't have to issue the permit, but being nice, I issued it. But it's on me.
Yeah.
So it's not. It wasn't going to happen.
Yes, and it's not like the fire code is just written out of nowhere, right? Like
No, no,
it's a reason why the code's there. Like
Yeah.
some incident, a lot of times with our standards, right? There's some incident that happened where you know there's a reason why we have it this way. Captain Hamlin was talking about it with the being burn instructors and just being instructor. Like there's reasons why they have these safety nets in place because there's something that happened before.
That's right.
Someone got seriously injured or died, and now we're going to stop that from happening. So a lot of times people may look at it like you're inconveniencing them, especially we're talking about larger venues where you have a sporting event maybe going on, but you're looking out for one, you got to protect yourself. CYA, cover your own, right? Cover your own butt, and then
And not just that.
the people.
I'm an agent for the city of Durham,
Yeah,
so I had to.
that's the liability on them.
Liability on the city of Durham. So
Yeah.
I had to do what I was supposed to do.
And it's for the citizens.
And
Yeah,
for the citizens as well.
their safety, right?
Yeah, but I'm under the employ of the city of Durham, and the city of Durham expects me to do my job,
All right.
and that's what I was going to do, my job.
Yeah. Hey, it sounds like you were good at it. It sounds
Hey,
like you're good
the
at it.
last thing somebody wants to do is be deposed. I'm going to say, you don't want to be deposed. Do your jobs, and do them right.
And I was just telling Central, their team, I was telling them one of the things I told them this morning. I said, look, one thing about the fire department, you get in this job, your job's solidified. Like one thing about City of Durham, I don't know of any time really where they've laid off people just to lay them off, right? Like they're very good at managing their finances. So one thing about city job and government jobs is it's hard to lose your job, especially when in this suppression or public safety. I said it's a couple situations where you'll get fired automatically, but it's very hard to lose your job. So as long as you're doing what you're supposed to do, you're pretty much solid in your job. Like they just can't fire you out of nowhere. They're not going to fire you out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So let's talk about you've been retired how many years now?
9.
9. When that time came to retire, was it hard? And how have you adjusted? And would you come back? Like if someone offered you a crazy amount of 6 figures, would you come back? Let's
Come back to where?
to the fire department
What fire department?
out of retirement.
What fire department?
Durham, the one that matters.
Durham's got a fire department? No, I'm not coming back. It doesn't matter what it is. I don't know. When I retired, I was asked to do an 8-week contract with inspections on the south side of Durham, clearing up area because we were short on inspectors. And then after I finished that 8-week, they asked me to do another 8 for the downtown area. So I did that. So I did 16 weeks after I retired as a contract.
That was enough.
That was enough. I mean, what I liked about that, and the reason I accepted that is because all I was doing was inspections. There were no investigations, no it was just inspections. Just
All right.
simple inspections.
All right. Well, I mean, so but the transition in retirement, like you didn't like. There wasn't any Joneses or missing, like wanted to be back out there.
No. My office was right next door to here. That was my office, and I could have left at 28 and a half, but me personally, I wanted 30 full service years on my certificate. So I stayed 30 years in 1 month. But I knew it was time, even though I could have worked more, because I still enjoyed what I was doing.
Uh-huh.
But inside of me was saying, it's time.
And y'all were a very tight knit group too, because I mean, my wife Sierra was out there. You had Bud.
Yeah.
You had Derek. Y'all had a real tight. Even to this day, y'all all. I'm amazed that you've been tired. Ree's been tired. Derek's gone. Julius is still here, but I'm amazed to see that you guys all still communicate with each other. Like y'all, and it's not like the love is still there. She told me to tell you, hey Shorty, tell Shorty. She said, tell Shorty, Shorty, Shorty. I said, what's up?
And even Jody. I mean,
Jody, Chief Morton's still here. Yeah,
we stay in touch.
all y'all stay in touch. Y'all have lunch with each other, and that's just amazing. And so when you have that camaraderie, which a lot of times on the fire department you have, it becomes hard to leave. A lot of times you don't want to leave, you don't want to lose those friendships, but you guys are able to keep it because it was more than outside of work. Like you guys, actually cared about each other than the uniform. So that's a beautiful thing.
Plus I was doing DPAC, so
You're doing DPAC. you was at all the stuff, man.
Yeah.
I'm sure you got to see a lot of things. Now, we have a viewer question. A lot of times, so usually people leave a question for the next guest. So we have a question for you. This one's from a viewer, and then I'm gonna have you leave a question for our next guest as well. So the question that was left was the highlight of your career. What would you consider the highlight of your career?
Wow. Gosh. The highlight, what I'm most proud of, the highlight, I would say it's a call that we were on. This is when I was driving engine 12.
All right, before you get into the call, just for the city's purposes, just don't name any identifiers. So you can say.
Oh, I wouldn't.
Okay, all right, cool.
No, I wouldn't do that.
All right, yeah.
I would do that. There was no, I'll leave that alone.
I mean, you can say
That was
whether
my highlight. That was my highlight, though.
was it a patient? Was it a EMS call? Was it a fire call?
It was an EMS call. It was an EMS call. It didn't start out as an EMS call. It started out as a vehicle turned upside in a creek.
Really?
Down in the creek, yes. And I lived in that area all my life. I didn't even know it was a creek there. All my life. I've been by that 1,000 times. I had no idea it was a creek there.
So y'all just got called for a vehicle in the creek, and y'all went to go investigate.
To investigate,
And did you find a person inside the vehicle?
Mm-hmm.
And so you went and your crew went to action and removed the person. Was there any difficulty in that whole task? Like we're talking about, a lot of people think it may be easy. They don't understand the complexity of some of these situations. So it's still water, right? It's a creek. It's not really moving.
Still water.
And the person, how did they end up in the creek? Was it a medical emergency that caused it?
From what I understand.
From a medical emergency, they ended up in the creek, and then you ended up. Was it a life save, or did you lose the person?
It was a life save.
It was a life save. What steps did you have to break the window, or?
Oh, the window was down. The thing was, got there and I'm looking around and where's the driver? People standing around. There was nobody.
All right.
So I went down into the water, and
Oh, you get them up. I can tell us.
went down into the water. Water was murky. Only thing you could see was a gas tank and rear tires. So I felt reached as far as I could inside the vehicle, and I could feel a hair.
Oh man.
So went down, tried not to get disoriented because it's murky, and couldn't pull the person out. And so there's a parkway guy there. He had a razor blade, cut and pulled the person out, and she survived.
Oh man, that's obviously it still affects you this day, man.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
those are the type of calls you remember, man. But like, luckily for you, I wish I had Kleenex, but luckily for you,
Thanks, man.
you were able to you had enough forethought to say, hey, where's the driver of this vehicle, right? And you went and investigated. It could have turned out a different way. So I'm sure that person's appreciative of your efforts and, you know, the team effort with the Parkwood person with the razor blade. And obviously those are things you don't forget, clearly. But that's wow, that was it daytime or nighttime?
Daytime.
Daytime?
Right at shift change. But you know, I know I'm not the only one on the department. When we see some bad things over the years, all of us do. We're gonna if we stay in this job, you're gonna see some bad things.
Right.
And the first thing that comes to my mind it never failed when I saw something that was bad. I'd always think about a family member or my children, you know. And so somebody's got to, you know, go through this agony. And I put myself in that person's place. I feel,
Yeah.
you know, bad.
You always, that's one thing one of my captains told me, Captain Shazo. I spent a lot of years with him, so I picked up a lot from him. And from that, like, one of the things he said is like, yo, like, when you're on these calls, like, treat this person like you would treat your family member.
Right.
Like, whether they're rich or whether they're poor. Like, treat them like you would want someone to treat your family member and give them the best care you can. And it's all about having bedside manner and just being able to be compassionate.
Yeah.
A lot of times you know, when you run a lot of BS calls throughout the day, right? You go through a lot of calls. Sometimes you're like, man, like, another one? Like, this one?
Yeah.
Naturally, we're human, right? Well, naturally, we get that. But you got to remember, like, again, you know, this one call has nothing to do with the other 8 calls that were before you, right?
Right.
Like, you can't take whatever frustrations you have from the day out on this one person. You got to be professional and remain compassionate throughout the whole thing. So that was, for people coming into it, like, one of the things you got to have is customer service for those looking to get in the field, and just good communication skills and be level-headed. What's one question you want to leave for the next guest?
Oh, can I say one more thing though?
Yes, go ahead.
Just to tag along with what you just said, I've always said that, you know, we're in the customer service business.
Right.
Treat people's property the same no matter where you are. Treat the person, let's say in McDougal Terrace, or their belongings, their homes, just like you would treat the people in Hope Valley.
Right.
Because this is all these people have, and this is all these people have.
Right.
Everybody needs to get the same level of quality. Because that's what we're supposed to do.
Well, yeah, I was actually, Captain Ham, when we talked about that, had a chief on a fire. He was pretty ticked off that, you know, he felt like salvage wasn't properly done. And like you just said, he was saying, I don't care what district is in. This may be all the people have.
Right.
So the best you can do is make sure you put your full effort into it.
Right.
So I appreciate that advice. Question for the next guest. You have one?
Man, I wasn't prepared for this. Question for the next guest. I have no idea who it's going to be.
Yeah.
But has your career been as rewarding as mine?
Has your career been as rewarding
Rewarding as mine.
as mine? Okay. Well, listen, that is a great question. I'll answer myself. So far, my career has been rewarding. I've never in a million years feel like I'll be doing what I'm doing right now. And I feel like in this role that I'm in now, I got this new energy. You know, when I was in suppression or operations, you know, because I felt like I've been to a bunch of calls and I've seen, you know, at a certain point, nothing becomes exciting anymore. It's just like, oh, another fire. Like we hear. For the new guy coming here, fires are great. Like for me, it was like, oh, it's another fire. Like I lost the excitement. But now being out here, I got rejuvenated. I feel excited. Like I'm building something here, and it's just a new challenge for me.
Something just popped in my head. Gosh. Something just popped in my head that was even more difficult. I mean, when I think about it today, it's scary for me.
What is that?
Years ago, when I was a firefighter on Engine 1, and we got a call to a structure fire over on Elm Street.
All right.
Off Pettigrew, and when we came up Bacon, the air was heavy, so the smoke was down to the ground. You couldn't even see the house burning, and it was rolling because the smoke was so thick on the ground. I'm surprised, and Terry Pascal was driving. I'm surprised he could get up in there because it was so smoky. But we decided to attack. Engine 3 was already there, you know, doing what they were doing on the outside, and Engine 1 came in, so we went to do an interior attack. Well, I was on the nozzle. We went up the steps, you know, house rolling up there, rolling on the left side of the house upstairs. And we went up, got to the top step. It was hot. It's all get out. I mean, gosh, it was hot. And so we were crawling towards the fire, and it was getting hotter and hotter. Didn't want to disturb what we were seeing. And my low pressure hose got hooked onto a stubbed pipe that was in the hallway where we were crawling. And it pulled my mask off my face.
Oh, man.
And I tried to adjust it, and that's the last thing I remember.
Wow.
And so when I came to, I was laying on the ground with an oxygen mask on my face.
Wow.
And this is why you never hot dog. You always work in pairs or more. Always. And never let go of the hose. And these guys know this. Never work by yourself. If I was trying to hot dog or work by myself, we wouldn't be having this conversation. But the person that was behind me, I don't even recall who it was, it might have been Junior Green, noticed that I wasn't moving. And so I got dragged. Of course, they joked it up. They said, they pulled me to the top of right to the top of the steps, and instead of pulling me down the steps, they took turns kicking me down the steps. When I found out I was all right.
They got you out, though.
They got me out. It doesn't matter how they got me out.
Just get me out.
Yeah, just get me out. But I ended up going to Duke, and getting a painful carbon monoxide test.
Oh,
They do it right here.
yeah.
The guy told me, he said, this is going to hurt. He says, it's a small needle, but it's going to hurt. And I'm saying, okay. It was close to being put in the chamber. Close, but not enough.
Oh man.
So it could have, it could have been a lot worse. That's the thing. You can eliminate that thing with the car. This was a lot.
That's your most memorable.
Yeah.
You created a new section for me. What you think about close call segment? I think
We'll do a close call segment. I'll make a graphic.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can do close calls. I think I'm gonna start asking guests close calls they may have. That'll be good to have, because you learn a lot of lessons from it in general. This was no fault of yours. It just got caught. Your mask got caught. Your hose got caught, which ripped your mask off your face. But luckily,
Yeah, back then we had demand and pressure demand. We had that switch on there.
yeah,
And I like keeping mine on pressure demand because you didn't use the air like you do when it's on pressure.
you reserve some air a little bit.
Reserve some air. So
Yeah.
I always worked with
Which it wouldn't matter because with the positive pressure, if the mask is all the way off your face, it doesn't matter
it
anyway,
didn't
right?
matter. It didn't matter.
But the good members, good old members at DFD used their training and kicked you downstairs. Kicked you downstairs. No, they got you out, so that's great.
Yeah.
Which most Mayday calls studies show, it's not the Mayday team that gets the RIT team that gets the people out. It's the person that's next to the person,
Yeah.
or within close proximity of the person that actually makes that rescue. Listen, I know you got to go. I know you got some things to do.
Oh, darn, that's right.
Yeah,
I'm good now.
look. We appreciate your time just talking to us. The legendary Lennis Harris, man. Hey, I'm still getting used to you with no hair, man. I'm sitting here.
Me too.
But we do appreciate you coming in. Patrick, you got any final words for the people?
Not really. I had a good time listening to y'all today. That was a good conversation. I appreciate you taking. You requested to be on, didn't you?
He made me.
It made you okay.
No, I saw Sean Boone's interview, and I thought it was nice. Really, really nice.
Yeah,
Sean,
thank you.
and Sean mentioned me on that.
Yeah, he did. He did.
He did mention me on that.
So, yeah, man. Again, you reached out to me. You know, you talked some junk, said the podcast sucked, but here you are. I appreciate you coming out. You did give us a history on the picture, so we appreciate that. Now I know the two people in the pictures, and I know that you have a relative on here. So, listen, like, follow, subscribe, share this video. Follow all the pages. Join Durham FD on Instagram and Facebook. Durham Fire Department on Facebook. Durham Fire Department on Instagram. And then if you have any questions, send them in. That's all I have for today. I appreciate your time. And until next time, we'll holler at you.